Hey, welcome to another episode of your review channel. Today we're talking about how to remove the center stile of your kitchen cabinet. If you have older cabinets and that stile's in the way, that thing in the middle, that rail, get rid of it. I'm going to show you how. But before we do, like, share, and subscribe. Let's get into the video right now. Okay, so here we see, here's an older cabinet and it has a center stile in the middle. And a lot of people want to remove them because they're always in the way. You're trying to get something out, you can't get something out, it's a pain in the neck. So I want to remove this, but I don't want to use this piece of wood here that's there because I think it doesn't fit quite right. It's too small. So I'm going to make a new piece and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. But we want to remove this piece. So the best way I found to remove it is use like a hacksaw. These ones do not have the screws in the back like a lot of people show online. These are nailed in from the factory. So you usually have to have like a hacksaw saw combination. I just use a hacksaw. I cut right through. It takes a little bit longer because the teeth are smaller, but it cuts right through the nails and that's real easy. And this is the saw that I use. Yeah, so it's real easy. I just use this saw here, cuts right through, no problem. I'll leave a link below where that saw is located so you can find it. So I just make a nice smooth cut on top and on the bottom, okay? It's not difficult, you don't have to be fancy. And just cut right, and use the top part of the cabinet and the bottom cabinet as your guide and just slide right through. Really, really easy, real simple. And just take that piece right out and just smooth it and clean it up and you'll be all set to go. And let's get into the next part and I'll show you what I did. So after I cut it off, you can see here you have a little bit of roughness. So just sand it down lightly with a sandpaper. And if you have some stain, just kind of fill it in because it will be unfinished, as the factory doesn't finish under the stain. So we just cut that top piece off and just smooth up the bottom and the top piece like you see here, and that is removed. That rail is removed. So what I didn't want to use that piece of wood that came out. It was just too short to cut with. It just wasn't fitting correctly. So I had to use a kick plate from a cabinet and use the kick plate and cut it to fit. And so you can see here, so without the centerpiece, you can see the big gap. It looks terrible. So you don't want that. So what I did is I used the handles for, you can see here the handles here, there's three holes. So I used two holes because we put a new handle on. And we use those two holes to attach it and also a top piece to screw it into the top as well. But you'll see that in 1 second. But the overlay wasn't enough and it just wouldn't fit right. So we had to just use our own piece. I bought a piece of kick plate that you can buy anywhere and I stained it to match as best as I could. That is difficult to do sometimes with the variation of the colors and stuff like that, but I matched it pretty well, pretty close, and you can see this is just a kick plate that was cut, so I have plenty of room to work with. I don't have to worry about worry about doing side cuts and side drill angles, just straight into the handles. I use the handles to hold the bottom, the screws, and I put a small screw on top and to secure it so it wouldn't bounce. And it worked perfectly. So I just wanted to give you this tip to show you how I did that. So basically I just, after you stained it, if it's painted, it'd be perfect. You won't even know, it'd be perfect. So then I just attached the two screws in the bottom to hold the bottom place after you measure it and get the exact layout that you want to hang over, about a 1/4 inch on the other side. There's plenty. Attach it to the handle with the two screws that I did here, and then I put a screw on top, and I can show you how I put it together. And when it gets done, it's actually perfect. I thought it was pretty good. It's a simple way of doing it. You don't have to worry about that other piece of wood. Sometimes it just don't work out, and this is just another way of doing it. As you can see, it's coming together quite well. Once you get your measurements and everything down just right, it's time to attach it after you get done staining it and painting it and put it on. So I use the back screws, like I said, that attaches the handle to hold the bottom piece. Really simple to do. All right, it's perfect support. It has plenty of room for overhang. You don't have to worry about splitting anything or cutting anything. You do pre-drill the holes, you get it all set up, and it works like a charm. So you don't have to, it's really just a good solution. It's not heavy, doesn't add a lot of extra weight. That extra center stile is quite heavy. This is a nice thin piece of wood. It'll match perfectly, especially if you paint it. You'll never know. This is stained, so it's a little bit more complicated with stain, but it did work out quite well. So I just started attaching it, two screws in the back. And I made them quite tight. Didn't have to use a washer at all. If you make the hole too big, you can use a washer if you need to. No big deal. Yeah. Listen, we're all here to learn. This is just something that my wife kept on saying to me, I can't stand those center things. They're in the way, and they're always in the way. So I was kind of pushed into doing this one, but you know what? I think all in all, at the end of the day, sometimes you get nervous about doing a new project, and I think it worked out pretty well. So once you get those two screws in the bottom, and just snug them to the back of the handle. So the handle is basically like the anchor, and so it does two jobs. You hold the handle, and also you get to hang up the piece of overlap here, the stile piece. And you can see here how it just hangs right over. Okay, here's the back of it, and there's the top of it. So you can see how it's just hanging over perfectly right now, right? And it's nice and light. It's not heavy. It doesn't worry about it splitting. It fits perfectly, and it really worked out pretty well. So I just wanted to show you how to do this. So so this is a piece of kick plate. Don't forget, that's all this is. You can get it at any Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever. You can paint them, you can stain them, you can get them unfinished, you can get them finished, whatever. Or if you know how to do carpentry, whatever, you can rip your own. a 1/4 inch, maybe it's 1/8 inch. It's pretty thin, but it does work out pretty well. And I just finished screwing it together, and let's take a look how it finished, how it looked. Okay, so after I screwed the top and bottom together, you can see it's nice and wide open, real easy to use, and just close it just like this, and you can see it's filled in just right. Like I said, there is a little variation in stain, but I do see that. But if you had it painted, it would be absolutely perfect. You would never know the difference, and honestly, it's really easy to do. You don't have to worry about that center stile. It's just get rid of it. This is another way, once you do your measurements, it's really kind of foolproof, even over. You know what I mean? You can't over improve these cabinets. It's nice to have the extra space. It's really nice. So I hope you found this video informative, and I hope you learned something on how to do remove the center stile rail, whatever you want to call it, in the middle of your cabinets, and just get it out of there and replace it with this simple fix. It's a little, like I said, a little piece of kick plate, and it was just stained or painted, whatever you're doing. It'll fit just right. So I hope you found this informative. I hope you learned something from this, and please subscribe to my channel if you did, and also like it if you found this of value. I do appreciate any comments or questions as well. Please leave below. It does help me out, and I'll leave all the tools that I use below below the description. You'll see that in the link below, and hope you enjoyed. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.